Everything you are facing right now is not working against you, it is working for you. Even when life feels uncertain, even when nothing seems to align, there is a greater orchestration unfolding behind the scenes. The unseen movement is often the most powerful. Just because you cannot see the shift doesn't mean the shift isn't happening. God is aligning every detail, every person, every opportunity, every event to lead you into the victory already written with your name on it. Your faith is not a request, it is a command to reality. When you assume the feeling of success, you invite the outcome to take form. The world you hope for exists first within your spirit. As you nurture that inner certainty, the physical world has no choice but to mirror it. Faith is the bridge that brings the unseen into the seen. Right now, what appears to be a setback is actually a setup. The delay you feel is divine timing arranging the best possible path. The door that closed did not close because you were unworthy. It closed because what's meant for you is greater than anything you have lost. God removes what would limit you and replaces it with what will elevate you. Never doubt the power at work within you. The moment you declare something as yours, heaven begins shifting circumstances to fulfill that declaration. Believe in the promise more than you fear the process. When you hold the end result in your heart, when you feel it as real, you become aligned with the miracle. Faith does not wait for proof. Faith is the proof. There is a version of you that God already sees. Victorious, fulfilled, abundant. That version is trying to emerge. The discomfort you feel is transformation. The uncertainty you feel is transition. Just as dawn follows the darkest hour, breakthrough follows pressure. Nothing is falling apart, everything is falling into place. So refuse to speak defeat. Refuse to imagine loss. Refuse to settle for anything less than the life God has designed for you. The victory is not coming, it has already been given. Your role is simply to remain faithful until what is promised becomes what is visible. Stand firm in your inner knowing. Celebrate the miracle before it arrives. Live in the feeling of answered prayer. God is shifting everything for your victory. Even now, even here, even if you cannot see it yet. Hold your faith. You are closer than you think. Your inner belief is the birthplace of your victory. Reality is responding to your faith. Before anything changes around you, something must first shift within you. Every breakthrough, every answered prayer, every blessing you will ever experience begins as a quiet conviction in your heart. It starts as a thought you choose to believe, a vision you dare to see, a promise you decide belongs to you. The world outside is only a reflection of the world you continuously nurture inside. When you change the beliefs you hold about yourself, you transform the outcomes you experience in life. Life is not merely responding to your actions, it is responding to your assumptions. If you assume defeat, you create the conditions for defeat. If you assume victory, every part of life starts aligning to confirm that assumption. There is power in the beliefs you repeat to yourself when no one is watching. Your expectations shape what you attract. Your inner dialogue shapes the opportunities that show up. Your belief is not small or invisible. It is a force that bends circumstances into agreement. Every moment you picture yourself succeeding. Every time you choose hope over fear, every time you speak life into your future, you are planting seeds that must eventually grow. You do not need to know how it will unfold. The how is never your responsibility. Your only job is to hold the vision and walk as if it is already done. Faith is not waiting with doubt. Faith is living from the truth that what you desire is already yours. When you treat your dream as real in the unseen, it becomes real in the seen. Your victory doesn't come when someone applauds you. It doesn't come when opportunities finally appear or when results start showing. It comes the moment you decide within your spirit that success is your destiny. That decision begins rewriting your story. It changes the doors that open, the relationships that enter, the strength rises within you, and the confidence that carries you through challenges. The moment you change your inner belief, your life has to follow. There will be moments when your faith is tested, moments when circumstances look opposite to what you believe. But that is the precise moment you must stand firm in your inner truth. The physical world often takes a little longer to catch up with the spiritual transformation already underway. What you see right now is not the final chapter. It is only the proof that a shift is taking place. Pressure means progress. Resistance means you are close. So guard your belief with persistence. Speak your victory more often than your fears. Feed your spirit with images of possibility, not evidence of limitation. Believe so deeply that the world has to agree. You are not a passive observer in your story, you are the author. And every time you choose faith over doubt, every time you align your emotions with what you desire instead of what you fear, you write a future that reflects your inner conviction. Victory does not start on the outside. It begins in the invisible chambers of your mind and heart. And as you hold unwavering belief in who you are meant to be, life will rise to meet that belief. Reality is listening. Reality is responding. And your inner faith is leading you exactly where you are destined to go. What looks like delay is divine rearrangement, preparation for fulfillment. When life makes you wait, it is not because you have been forgotten. It is because something sacred is being aligned for you. Every season of delay carries purpose, even if the purpose is invisible in the moment. Just like seeds are buried before they bloom, your dreams sometimes require a period of darkness and stillness before they emerge in full beauty. What feels like nothing happening is often everything happening beneath the surface. The human mind wants quick results. We want answers today. Doors open now, miracles on our schedule. But destiny is not rushed. The process that leads to your blessing is often more important than the blessing itself. There are lessons you must grow through, strengths that must be developed, people you must release, and new environments you must enter. Delay is not denial. It is refining, restructuring, and redirecting you into the precise position where fulfillment can find you. When a delay appears, it is easy to slip into frustration or discouragement. You may think nothing is working or that your prayers have been ignored, but the truth is much deeper. The timing of your breakthrough is being designed with perfection. If the blessing came too early, you might not recognize it, handle it well, or even keep it. If the opportunity arrived before you were ready, it could overwhelm instead of elevate. The waiting season ensures that when the door opens, you walk through it with confidence, stability, and wisdom. There are people who must exit your life before your next level begins. There are relationships that must be healed, mindsets that must be renewed, patience that must be tested. Delay is the divine way of clearing out what does not belong in your calling. God rearranges the pieces, moves situations around, and prepares the path long before you step onto it. Every change you face is a step in the orchestration. Nothing is wasted, nothing is random. You may feel stuck, but the truth is you are being positioned. You may feel like you're going in circles, but something is moving on your behalf. The uncomfortable transitions, the unexpected setbacks, the closed doors, these are signs that the rearrangement is happening. When construction is taking place inside your life, things can look messy for a while, but once the building is complete, the beauty of the design becomes undeniable. Trust the timing of your transformation. Trust that what is meant for you cannot pass you. Trust that if it is delayed, it is because it is being perfected. You are not waiting for something small, you are waiting for something aligned with your highest calling. The waiting is preparing you to appreciate the blessing, to recognize its value, and to sustain it once it arrives. The delay is strengthening your faith so that nothing can shake you when destiny manifests. What seems stuck is actually moving. What feels slow is secretly accelerating. What appears like a setback is setting the foundation for a greater comeback. Hold on to your vision. Stay grounded in your belief. Keep walking with expectation. Fulfillment is not just coming, it is being arranged to meet you at the exact moment you are ready to receive it. Your imagination is a spiritual blueprint. Picture the result as already yours. Everything you desire must first be built in the unseen realm of thought and belief before it can materialize in the physical world. Your imagination is not a place of fantasy, it is the workshop of creation. The images you hold in your mind shape your destiny. The feelings you associate with those images bring them to life. When you dare to imagine yourself victorious, healed, successful, and fulfilled, you are drafting the very blueprint that reality must follow. Most people wait to see change before they believe it, but true power comes from believing first. The mind does not distinguish between what is imagined and what is lived. Whatever you consistently picture and feel becomes imprinted on your subconscious. And the subconscious is the engine that drives your actions, your habits, your energy, your attraction, and your outcomes. When you imagine the end result is already achieved, you align every part of your being with that destiny. Your imagination is your direct line to the divine. Every inspired thought is a signal from a higher dimension urging you forward. Vision is a preview of what is possible. It is a sneak peek into the future prepared for you. If you can see it in your mind and believe it in your spirit, you can hold it in your hands. The moment you picture the fulfillment of your desire and feel gratitude as if it already exists, you activate a spiritual law. The inner reality must become the outer reality. There is tremendous creative power hidden in the simple act of imagining. When you visualize your dream home, your thriving career, your restored health, your loving relationships, you begin creating the emotional experience of already having them. And that emotional frequency attracts people, situations, and opportunities that match its vibration. You begin to notice doors that were always there but previously invisible. You start moving differently, speaking differently, showing up differently, because your mind has already accepted the success as truth. Do not allow doubt or fear to hijack your imagination. Those negative images also create limitation. If you imagine failure, you invite failure. If you imagine loss, you prepare the world to confirm that expectation. Protect the sacred power of your inner vision. Replace every thought of what if it doesn't happen with What if everything goes right? Train your imagination to hold the picture of the outcome you want, not the circumstances you fear. Make your vision so clear, so alive, so emotionally real that the world must rise to meet it. Return to that image daily, especially when reality contradicts it. Your imagination is the container for your future. It is where the dream lives before it becomes flesh. Never underestimate the creative force within your thoughts. You are not dreaming for no reason. That desire exists because a version of you already lives that experience. Your imagination is simply introducing you to the future you are meant to step into. So hold the picture. Feel the fulfillment. Walk as if the promise has already been delivered. Your blueprint is ready and reality is building exactly what you dare to imagine. Closed doors are not rejection, they are protection and redirection toward destiny. When something you wanted doesn't work out, when an opportunity slips away, or when a path you believed was right suddenly closes, it can feel like the universe is against you. But often, the doors that shut are doing you a favor. They are preventing you from entering spaces that are not aligned with your purpose or prepared for your greatness. What looks like loss is sometimes divine shielding. There are roads that might seem perfect in the moment, but if you walk down them, they would eventually limit you, drain you, or delay your real breakthrough. Some environments are too small for the version of you that is becoming. Some relationships cannot carry the weight of your calling. Some opportunities would have given you comfort but stolen your growth. So the door closes because your destiny is too significant to settle for what is convenient. Rejection is not a reflection of your worth. It is a redirection toward your higher path. You are being guided away from distractions, detours, and dead ends. You are being steered toward divine appointments that are bigger and better than what you initially expected. The job you didn't get, the person who walked away, the plan that failed, each one is a step closer to the life that is meant to manifest for you. Every no is clearing space for a more powerful yes. Closed doors build resilience and clarity. They help you discover who you truly are by pushing you to reflect, adapt, and evolve. They teach you what belongs in your life and what doesn't. Every time you face a rejection, you are also being given a revelation. You are not supposed to stay where you are. You are meant to rise higher. The discomfort you feel is an invitation to grow. You may feel like something has been taken from you, but what if something better is being prepared? What if the delay is positioning you in front of the right people at the right time in the right place? A closed door can save you from heartbreak, from wasted years, from experiences that would have dimmed your light. You might not see the protection now, but one day you will look back and be thankful that certain prayers were not answered the way you imagined. There is a purpose to every pause. There is meaning behind every ending. Life is not breaking you, it is building you. When a chapter finishes, it is because a greater one is ready to begin. Trust that the universe is removing what is not meant for your destiny and making room for the blessings designed specifically for you. Instead of asking, "Why did this door close?" begin saying, "Thank you for guiding me to something better." Stand with faith, not frustration. Speak hope, not doubt. Honor the transition. because movement is happening even when you cannot see it. A closed door is not the end of your story, it is the beginning of a new direction. What seems like rejection is simply protection. And where you are being redirected is exactly where your destiny has been waiting for you all along. Your current challenges are signals of breakthrough. The shift is already in motion. The very pressure you are experiencing is proof that something powerful is changing within and around you. When life intensifies, when obstacles multiply, when uncertainty rises, it is not a sign that things are falling apart. It is a sign that transformation is taking place. Breakthrough always shows up wearing the disguise of difficulty. The resistance you feel is the indicator that you are pushing against an old reality that can no longer contain who you are becoming. Think about any great change in nature. The seed must break apart for the plant to emerge. The caterpillar must endure the cocoon before it becomes the butterfly. Pressure precedes expansion. Darkness precedes dawn. When everything around you feels chaotic or uncomfortable, it is because the old structures are collapsing so the new can rise. You are outgrowing spaces that once fit you. Your soul is calling you forward. Challenges are not meant to stop you, they are meant to strengthen you. Every obstacle is preparing you with the character, wisdom, and resilience required for your next level. You are learning persistence, patience, courage, qualities that only reveal themselves through experience. If your journey were too easy, you would never discover the power you carried. If nothing tested you, nothing would change in you. The struggle is shaping you into the person who can hold the blessing you've been praying for. Right now, it may feel like everything is being delayed or denied, but look deeper. Subtle shifts are happening. Doors you wouldn't have noticed before are beginning to appear. New ideas, new people, new directions are aligning. The discomfort is showing you that the chapter you're in is ending and the next chapter is ready to begin. The shift is not coming someday. It is already unfolding with every step you take, with every thought you transform, with every moment you choose faith over fear. What if the challenge you're facing is the very key that unlocks your blessing? What if the pain is the pathway to purpose? You were not created to be defeated by the problems in your life. You were created to rise through them. Challenges are a sign that your story is advancing, not ending. They are evidence that you are close to something greater than what you have known. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What is this preparing me for?" Instead of shrinking in fear, stand in the truth that progress is happening even when progress isn't visible. You are not stuck, you are transitioning. You are not losing, you are leveling up. The very force pushing against you is the force pushing you forward. Breakthrough is not a fantasy, it is forming right now. Hold on to your faith. Keep moving. Keep believing. The shift has already begun, and the challenges you are facing today will soon become the testimony that inspires others tomorrow. What is ahead is worth everything you are pushing through. Breakthrough is not far away, it is already in motion. Hold the end result in your heart. Your faith is the force that completes the miracle. The moment you receive a desire deeply within your spirit, the miracle begins. It doesn't start when the evidence appears or when the world finally agrees with you. It begins the second you accept the outcome as already yours. Faith is not a passive hope. It is an active knowing. It is the bold decision to live from the result instead of waiting for the result. When your heart fully embraces the fulfillment, reality has no option but to rise and match your conviction. So many dreams go unfulfilled because people keep waiting for permission to believe. They wait for signs, for guarantees, for validation. But faith does not ask for proof. Faith is the proof. It is the inward certainty that turns the invisible into the inevitable. When you hold the end result in your heart with unwavering trust, you align your thoughts, your energy, and your actions with that destiny. You begin behaving like someone who has already won. You speak differently, you walk differently, you expect differently, and those expectations create the pathway for the miracle to manifest. Doubt is the only thing that can interrupt what has already been set in motion. If you release the belief, you slow the blessing. But if you remain rooted in the end, if you choose belief over every negative story your mind tries to tell you, the promise you hold will take shape. The delay does not weaken the miracle. Your disbelief does. Stay faithful when nothing looks like it's changing. Stand firm in your vision when everything seems to contradict it. Victory starts within and then moves outward. Faith is the spiritual law that governs manifestation. What you feel as real must eventually become real. Your imagination is the first stage of creation, and faith is what completes the work. You do not chase the miracle, you embody it. You live in the emotional state of already done. Gratitude becomes your language, joy becomes your posture, and confidence becomes your atmosphere. When you hold that state, circumstances shift, people align, opportunities appear, and the blessing is drawn directly to you. This is why you cannot give up in the middle. The silent months matter. The unseen progress matters. Every day you choose to believe, even without results, you are strengthening the bridge between the invisible and the visible. Your consistency in faith is building the future you've prayed for. Every moment of trust is a brick placed in the structure of your destiny. You do not need to see how the miracle will happen. You only need to see the miracle as already complete in your heart. Do not allow your senses to decide your future. Allow your spirit to lead it. Hold the end result so tightly in your inner world that nothing in the outer world can shake it. Faith is not waiting to receive. Faith is knowing you already have it. The moment you refuse to let go of the vision is the moment the miracle becomes unstoppable. Your faith is the finishing touch. It is the force that calls the promise into form. And as long as you keep believing, the miracle must be completed. The journey to your victory is already unfolding, even in the moments that feel unclear or difficult. Every shift, every delay, every challenge is working for your good. You are not walking alone. A higher power is guiding your path, arranging the right people, preparing the right opportunities, and shaping you into the person who can fully receive what is coming. Your faith is the key that unlocks the future designed for you. Hold the vision, live from the end, trust the unseen. Because everything you desire has already begun its journey toward you. Victory is not a distant dream. It is a reality forming right now. What is meant for you cannot be taken, delayed forever, or destroyed. You are being prepared for a life that reflects your inner belief, a life of purpose, abundance, peace, and fulfillment. Stand boldly in that truth. Celebrate the promise before it shows up. Because when you choose faith over fear, the miracle must find you. Thank you for listening. Stay encouraged, stay expectant, and never lose faith. Your victory is already on the way. I want you to hear this today. Everything in your life is moving, quietly yet powerfully, in your favor. Even if it doesn't feel that way right now, a shift is taking place and a big win is on its way to you. The secret lies not in what the world shows you, but in the inner world you cultivate. Every thought you allow, every feeling you entertain, shapes the reality that is being delivered to you. When you imagine the outcome you desire and truly feel it as already yours, the universe rearranges itself to bring it into your experience. Too often, we wait for the proof before believing. We look at circumstances, external events, or the opinions of others to decide what is possible. But the truth is, reality responds to your imagination first. What you hold firmly in your mind and heart manifests in your life. Trust that unseen forces are aligning, preparing every detail so that your big win cannot be delayed. Release the tension, release the worry. These are not signs that you are failing. They are signals that you are being asked to let go and allow. Step into the feeling of your victory now. See it, hear it, live it in your mind, and watch as the world bends to meet your expectation. Your imagination is not a playground. It is the workshop of reality. Persist in your inner vision. Persist in the assumption that your big win is not only coming, but that it is already yours. Feel the triumph, the joy, the relief, the freedom of your success now. By doing this, you are not chasing reality, you are creating it. So today, let your faith be greater than your doubt. Let your imagination guide you, and know that everything is shifting in your favor. Your big win is not somewhere in the distant future, it is near. Feel it, believe it, live it, and step confidently into the life you have been silently crafting all along. Your outer world is a mirror of your inner world. Every circumstance, every encounter, every challenge, and every opportunity you experience is a reflection of what you carry within your mind and heart. Most people live as if the external world is the ultimate authority, as if their reality is shaped by chance, luck, or other people's actions. But the truth is far more empowering. Your imagination is the seed of your reality, and the life you see outside begins first inside of you. When you vividly imagine your desired outcome and genuinely feel it as real, you are not merely entertaining a fantasy, you are creating the blueprint through which reality must align. The key is not just to think about your goal superficially, but to immerse yourself in it emotionally, to feel every nuance of its fulfillment as though it has already happened. This is what gives your inner vision its creative power. Every emotion, every sense of certainty, every conviction in your mind serves as a directive to the unseen forces orchestrating your life. When you cultivate the feeling of your success as already existing, you send a signal that cannot be ignored. Reality cannot resist the insistence of your belief. It bends and moves to accommodate the vivid, emotionally charged vision you carry. Many people stop short at imagining without feeling, or they feel desire tinged with doubt, and that mixture weakens the creative force. But when you embrace your vision fully, with confidence and joy, your inner world sets in motion a chain of events in the external world that will inevitably mirror it. This is why so often those who maintain a persistent inner vision find doors opening, coincidences occurring, and solutions appearing, often in ways they could not have anticipated. It is not magic in the whimsical sense. It is the natural law of creation responding to your inner state. The outer world cannot give you lasting fulfillment because it is only the reflection of what already exists within. When you align your thoughts, feelings, and assumptions with the reality you wish to see, you create a gravitational pull that draws circumstances, people, and opportunities toward the fulfillment of that vision. The clarity and intensity of your inner vision determine the speed and ease with which your desires manifest. Doubt and fear cloud the vision, scattering its energy, but a focused, emotionally charged imagination crystallizes your desired outcome into inevitability. Each moment you spend feeling your desired reality as already true strengthens the alignment of your outer world with your inner world. You begin to notice patterns, opportunities, and people that support your vision, and setbacks transform into guidance rather than obstacles. The key is persistence and emotional involvement. Keep returning to your inner vision, nurturing it with feeling, conviction, and faith. Over time, your outer world cannot help but shift because it is simply responding to the reality you have firmly established within. Imagination, when felt deeply, becomes irresistible, and your reality bends to reflect what your mind has already embraced. To assume the end means to live and act as though your desired outcome has already been fully realized. It is not merely hoping or wishing for a future event to occur. It is embodying the state of fulfillment in the present moment. When you assume the end, you step into the feeling of having already won, and you carry that state consistently in your thoughts, emotions, and actions. This practice creates a powerful alignment between your inner world and the external circumstances that must inevitably reflect it. Most people look at their current reality and conclude that their dreams are distant or unattainable, allowing circumstances to dictate their sense of possibility. They wait for proof before they feel victorious. But the law that governs creation works in the opposite direction. Reality conforms to the frequency of your inner belief, not the conditions outside of you. By assuming the end, you are setting your inner world on a frequency that magnetizes the external evidence to match it. It is not enough to simply imagine the end occasionally. You must live in that state persistently, feeling the emotions, embracing the confidence, and carrying the certainty as though the outcome has already occurred. When you do this, your mind begins to generate ideas, solutions, and actions that are consistent with the reality you have assumed. Opportunities begin to appear. Doors that were once closed swing open, and people who align with your vision come into your life. This is not coincidence. It is the natural response of life to the vibrational frequency you have adopted. The act of assuming the end also transforms the way you respond to challenges. Instead of reacting from fear, doubt, or lack, you respond from a place of confidence and abundance. Every setback is seen through the lens of inevitability as a temporary delay that ultimately reinforces the manifestation you have already assumed. This mental and emotional state rewires your perception, allowing you to recognize paths and possibilities that were invisible to those who are focused solely on the current reality. By feeling the completion of your goal, you generate a momentum that propels events toward its realization. Your body, mind, and spirit begin to harmonize with the reality you have assumed, creating coherence between your inner convictions and your outer action. As this alignment strengthens, the universe responds, rearranging circumstances and orchestrating events in ways that bring your assumption into tangible reality. The key is unwavering persistence. The mind may attempt to doubt, and the world may present contrary appearances, but the more consistently you live in the state of the fulfilled end, the faster your external reality will reflect it. To assume the end is to step out of waiting and into creation, to recognize that the victory you seek is already yours within, and that by embracing it fully, the universe will inevitably conform to the reality you have assumed. It is a practice of living in the certainty of your desired outcome, trusting that life is simply reflecting the inner state you maintain. Resistance is the silent force that keeps many people from experiencing the reality they desire. Doubt, fear, impatience, and worry create barriers that obstruct the flow of life's natural intelligence and delay the manifestation of your goals. The more you cling to skepticism or urgency, the more you reinforce the very obstacles you wish to overcome. Resistance arises when you question whether what you desire is possible, when you allow fear of failure or fear of the unknown to dominate your thoughts, or when you grow impatient with the timing of life. These mental and emotional tensions act like walls between you and your desired outcome, keeping it at a distance. To release resistance is to surrender, not in the sense of giving up, but in the sense of trusting completely in the unseen forces that are orchestrating your life. The universe, or the intelligence that governs creation, is always at work. It moves quietly, arranging people, circumstances, and opportunities in perfect alignment with the state of mind you maintain. Yet, if you are tense, skeptical, or impatient, you disrupt this delicate process. By releasing resistance, you stop adding friction to your own path. Letting go of doubt means no longer questioning whether your desire is attainable. It means holding unwavering faith that what you have imagined, what you have felt as real, is already in motion toward manifestation. Letting go of fear requires embracing trust and confidence, understanding that whatever appears in your external world is part of the process and ultimately serves your higher purpose. Releasing impatience involves surrendering control over timing, recognizing that the unseen forces work with perfect precision, often in ways you cannot yet comprehend. This does not mean passive waiting. On the contrary, it means active alignment, cultivating thoughts, emotions, and assumptions that support the reality you wish to see, while simultaneously trusting that life is moving toward your fulfillment. Every moment spent resisting delays the inevitable, while every moment spent in calm trust accelerates it. Releasing resistance also transforms how you experience setbacks and delays. Instead of reacting with frustration or fear, you learn to see each moment as a guidepost, a step in the unfolding process, or an opportunity to refine your inner state. You stop blaming circumstances or external factors and begin to focus entirely on the alignment between your inner world and your desired outcome. The more consistently you practice letting go, the, the more natural it becomes. Doubts arise, but you acknowledge them without feeding them. Fear appears, but you recognize it as a signal to return to trust. Impatience surfaces, but you consciously release it, knowing that life's timing is perfect. In doing so, you create a state of openness, allowing the unseen forces to work unhindered, bringing circumstances, people, and events into harmony with the reality you have imagined. Trusting the unseen process is not theoretical, it is a lived experience. It is the calm confidence that what is yours is already moving toward you and nothing can prevent its arrival. Resistance dissolves when you surrender fully to this truth, allowing life to flow effortlessly toward your manifestation. Success is not something that exists only in the distant future. It is a state of consciousness that can be fully experienced in the present moment. Too often, people postpone their happiness, telling themselves they will feel relief, joy, or triumph only after reaching a goal, receiving recognition, or achieving a certain milestone. This thinking keeps them in a perpetual state of waiting, as if success is a destination to arrive at rather than a condition to inhabit. To live in the feeling of success means to immerse yourself fully in the emotions associated with your victory, as though it has already occurred. It is not an act of wishful thinking or pretending. It is the deliberate cultivation of the inner state that naturally precedes outer manifestation. When you feel the joy of having achieved your goal, your mind and body are signaling to the universe that this reality is already real. You create a vibrational match between your inner experience and the external circumstances that will reflect it. Imagine the relief of overcoming a long-standing challenge, the satisfaction of seeing your efforts bear fruit, the exhilaration of receiving what you have long desired. Allow yourself to inhabit these feelings now. Let them permeate every thought, every gesture, every breath. The universe responds to the intensity of this feeling, aligning circumstances, people, and opportunities to match the state you carry within. Living in the feeling also transforms the way you approach daily life. Instead of acting from anxiety, lack, or frustration, you begin to move through each moment with the confidence and assurance of someone who has already won. Your decisions, words, and actions emanate from this state, creating a coherence between your inner and outer world. This coherence is magnetic. Others are drawn to your energy. Doors that once seemed closed open naturally, and challenges are met with solutions that align with the reality you are feeling. The key to this practice is consistency. Feeling the joy, relief, and triumph of your success once or sporadically is not enough. You must make it a continuous state of consciousness, returning to it whenever doubt or fear arises. By doing so, you reinforce the inner reality that your outer world will inevitably mirror. Living in the feeling also dissolves the tension that comes from waiting for external validation. When you inhabit the emotions of your fulfilled goal, you no longer depend on circumstances to confirm your worth or progress. You become self-sufficient in your experience of success, and this independence accelerates manifestation. Every day, every moment spent in this state deepens the alignment between who you are internally and what you see externally. Success becomes not a distant prize, but a natural present reality. By consistently feeling the reality of your desired outcome as if it is already yours, you bypass struggle, doubt, and delay. You live in the reality you wish to experience, and the world around you must respond. True mastery of manifestation lies not in chasing goals, but in feeling them deeply in the present, allowing your inner state of joy, relief, and triumph to shape the world you inhabit. Faith without evidence is the cornerstone of true transformation. Most people look to the outside world for confirmation of their desires, waiting for signs, results, or tangible proof before they allow themselves to believe in what they want. They examine circumstances, analyze outcomes, and judge the likelihood of success based on what they see. This approach, however, is fundamentally backward. The external world is only a reflection of the inner state, and waiting for it to align before trusting is like trying to see a reflection before holding the mirror. True transformation begins within, in the quiet realm of imagination and unwavering conviction. Faith without evidence means trusting in the reality of your desires, even when the world appears to contradict them. It is the act of holding an inner certainty that what you seek is already moving toward you, regardless of external appearances. This kind of faith is not passive or naive. It is active, deliberate, and deeply rooted in the understanding that your inner state is the source of all manifestation. When you maintain unwavering faith in the unseen, you align yourself with the creative forces of the universe. Doubt, fear, and the need for proof create dissonance that disrupts the flow of manifestation. But when you persist in belief, even in the absence of evidence, you establish a magnetic frequency that draws circumstances and opportunities into harmony with your vision. Faith without evidence also changes your perception of challenges and delays. Setbacks, obstacles, or apparent failures are no longer indicators that your desires are impossible. Instead, they become temporary appearances, reflections of timing or adjustment, not final judgments on your ability to achieve what you envision. The unseen forces are continuously at work, orchestrating details, aligning events, and preparing the path for your manifestation. Your role is to maintain the inner state of certainty, to live as though your desired outcome is inevitable. This unwavering faith acts as a signal, a vibration that life cannot ignore. The universe responds, often in ways you could not have anticipated, because the creative power of faith operates beyond the limitations of linear thinking. Every action, every choice, every thought becomes infused with confidence, clarity, and alignment when faith is maintained without evidence. You stop reacting from fear, scarcity, or uncertainty, and you begin to act from a place of certainty and inevitability. This is why those who master faith without evidence often experience seemingly miraculous manifestations. They do not wait for the world to validate their vision, they validate it from within. They know that the unseen is real and that it is always working on their behalf. Transformation, therefore, is not a matter of accumulating proof or controlling external circumstances. It is the cultivation of an inner state of unwavering faith, a steady belief in the inevitability of your desired reality. When you maintain this faith, you bypass doubt, attract the necessary conditions, and watch as the world rearranges itself to match the certainty you hold within. Faith without evidence is the ultimate demonstration of creative power, the act of trusting the unseen and knowing beyond any doubt that what you desire is already yours. Your imagination is far more than a mental playground or a place for idle daydreaming. It is the workshop where your entire reality is conceived and brought into being. Every circumstance, opportunity, and outcome you experience begins first as a thought, a vision, a feeling, nurtured in your mind. Those who understand this law know that imagination is not a passive activity. It is the creative engine that shapes everything you see in the external world. To persist in imagination means to deliberately cultivate the inner scene of your desired reality repeatedly with feeling until it becomes a living, tangible experience in your outer life. Most people allow their imaginations to wander aimlessly, entertaining fears, doubts, and scenarios that keep them stuck in a state of lack or limitation. In contrast, the individual who persistently focuses on a specific desired outcome is intentionally directing the creative forces that govern life. This is not about mere wishful thinking. It is about consciously constructing the mental and emotional blueprint of your victory, seeing it clearly, feeling it deeply, and returning to it consistently, day after day, moment after moment. The persistence of imagination ensures that the inner scene becomes indelibly impressed upon your consciousness. When you rehearse your success vividly in your mind, your subconscious mind begins to accept it as reality, and your outer world begins to conform accordingly. This is why repetition, intensity, and emotional involvement are so critical. A fleeting thought or a passing fantasy has little power, but a sustained, emotionally charged inner scene creates momentum that cannot be ignored by the creative forces of the universe. Persisting in your imagination also changes the way you perceive obstacles. Challenges that appear in the external world no longer dissuade or discourage you because your inner scene remains intact and unshaken. You continue to act and think in alignment with your vision, knowing that what is unseen will inevitably manifest. Over time, the clarity and consistency of your imagination magnetize people, circumstances, and opportunities that support the realization of your goal. Doors open, coincidences occur, and what once seemed impossible becomes inevitable. Persistence of imagination is also an exercise in faith and patience. The external world may lag behind the inner vision, but by continuing to nurture the scene in your mind, you bridge the gap between what is and what will be. Your imagination becomes a signal, a vibrational anchor that holds the desired reality in place until it can appear tangibly. Every time you return to your inner scene, you are reinforcing the blueprint, deepening the conviction that your victory is not only possible, but inevitable. In this way, your imagination becomes both a rehearsal and a rehearsal stage, a laboratory where the future is tested and refined until it is ready to manifest. The more persistently you engage in this practice, the more powerfully your inner world shapes your external world. By understanding that imagination is the workshop of reality, and by committing to its persistent cultivation, you align yourself with the forces of creation, ensuring that the victory you hold in mind eventually becomes the reality you experience. In conclusion, everything we have explored today points to one undeniable truth. Your inner world shapes your outer reality. By harnessing the power of your imagination, assuming the end, releasing resistance, living fully in the feeling of your success, maintaining unwavering faith without evidence, and persistently nurturing your vision, you are setting in motion forces that align the universe in your favor. Your big win is not a distant possibility, it is already on its way, responding to the clarity, emotion, and conviction you cultivate within. Trust the process. Embrace the feeling of your victory now and watch as life unfolds perfectly to reflect what you have held as real. Remember, the unseen is always working for you, and every shift you make within brings your desires closer to manifestation. Step into your power. Remain consistent in your inner work and know that everything is indeed shifting in your favor. Thank you. There comes a moment in every journey where the visible world seems painfully slow, where nothing appears to be shifting, and you wonder if all your inner work, your prayers, your imaginal discipline, your persistence has been in vain. But what you do not see is far more powerful than what you do. Behind the scenes, a reality you have already claimed is weaving itself into form with perfect precision. Life is not ignoring you. It is aligning itself with the state you have accepted as true. You must understand something profound. The outer world is the final echo, not the beginning. Every outcome, every breakthrough, every blessing is first born in the invisible. And once it exists within you, it must externalize, just as surely as a shadow must follow its source. So if right now the scene around you seems unchanged, don't mistake silence for stagnation. A seed does not sprout the moment it touches the soil, yet beneath the surface it is bursting, forming, preparing for the light. Your inner conversations, the assumptions you persist in despite appearances, are the blueprints of your unfolding life. If you hold the end so firmly that you feel it as real, then the world is obligated to reflect it. It has no choice. Reality bends to the one who refuses to surrender their inner state. This is why it is essential to keep going. Not because the path is hard, but because the harvest is already yours. You are merely walking to where it has been placed. Every day you persist, every moment you return to the end, every time you choose the feeling of fulfillment over the evidence of delay, you accelerate the process. You become aligned with what is meant for you. And let me remind you, the greatest movements happen when nothing seems to be happening at all. The phone call you need, the opportunity forming, the person deciding, the shift arranging, the doors preparing to open. All of this is in motion long before it reaches your senses. Life does not reveal the construction phase, it shows you only the finished product. That is why faith is the bridge between the unseen and the seen. So hold your vision, return to it often, live in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, become the version of you who already has what you desire. When your inner state is consistent, your outer world must bow to it. It must reorganize itself to match the reality you have assumed. You are closer than you think. You are standing in the hallway between your old story and your new manifestation. And though hallways feel empty, they lead to rooms already prepared for you. And your unseen world is far more alive and active than you realize. While the external world appears to move at its own pace, the true work, the real orchestration of your life, is happening in the invisible realm. Every thought you think, every feeling you harbor, every assumption you carry quietly shapes the foundation upon which your future unfolds. It is easy to mistake the lack of immediate evidence as stagnation, but what is unseen operates on a timeline that does not conform to your impatience. The pieces are being arranged long before your senses perceive any movement, and the subtle mechanics of reality are quietly aligning themselves with the state you have embraced internally. The unseen world responds not to your fleeting desires or passing whims, but to the beliefs you hold as true. When you imagine a scene vividly and feel it as if it already exists, you are planting a seed in the fertile soil of the invisible. That seed, nurtured by the consistency of your attention and feeling, begins to grow and organize itself into a pattern that must eventually manifest. The moment it takes form externally is not the beginning of its existence. It is merely the unveiling of what has already been completed behind the scenes. This is why it is so critical to guard your inner life, to protect it from doubt and distraction. The unseen does not negotiate. It obeys the laws of consciousness precisely. Often, life appears to lag, and the delay can tempt you to abandon your inner work. Yet, these pauses are never signs of failure. They are the quiet periods of construction, the moments when the threads of your desire are being woven together in ways too intricate for the human eye to detect. Like an artist meticulously sketching a masterpiece before the first stroke of color is visible, the unseen world is preparing the environment, the circumstances, and even the people who will serve your vision. Everything is moving, though it may feel as if nothing is. Understanding this requires a shift in perspective. You are not waiting for the world to act on your behalf. The world is responding to the state you inhabit. If your mind is scattered, your feelings inconsistent, your belief fragile, then the unseen will hesitate, adjust, or delay its work. But when you embody the reality you desire with unwavering conviction, every unseen element aligns, doors begin to open, opportunities appear, coincidences multiply, and what once seemed impossible starts to feel inevitable. The unseen world is patient and precise. It does not rush or stumble. It operates with perfect timing and infinite wisdom. Your role is not to force it or to constantly question it, but to maintain your state of faith, clarity, and inner knowing. The unseen has already completed what you seek. Your task is to persist in the awareness of that completion, to live as if it has already arrived, and to trust that the manifestation will follow naturally. Every delayed sign, every apparent obstacle is simply part of the unseen arrangement, orchestrating events, people, and circumstances with precision. When you grasp this truth, you move with serenity rather than anxiety, knowing that your desires are being fulfilled, even before the evidence is visible. The unseen is alive, responsive, and always working in your favor. The faith, persistence, and unwavering attention ensure that when the time is right, the evidence will finally appear, revealing the intricate work that has been quietly unfolding all along. Everything you experience in life begins as an assumption within your own consciousness. The thoughts you habitually entertain, the beliefs you quietly nurture, and the inner images you persistently dwell upon act as the architects of your external reality. Life does not randomly happen to you, it is a reflection of what you hold as true in your mind. Every circumstance, every relationship, every event is ultimately a mirror of your internal assumption. What you accept internally as real will inevitably manifest externally, because the world outside is merely a shadow of the world within. Assumptions are not just fleeting thoughts, they are powerful forces that shape the foundation upon which your entire life is built. When you assume something will occur, when you hold it as an inevitable reality, your subconscious mind begins to organize your experiences around that assumption. It aligns your actions, your perceptions, and even the behavior of others with the reality you have chosen internally. Conversely, doubts, fears, and contradictory assumptions produce a life that reflects uncertainty, struggle, and delay. The key lies not in the effort you expend outwardly, but in the consistency of the inner state you maintain. Persistence in your assumptions is the true measure of creative power. A single fleeting thought may spark an idea, but it is the continued, unwavering assumption of a desired outcome that establishes the stage on which your life unfolds. Like a director carefully planning every scene of a play, your internal assumptions dictate the scenery, the actors, and the sequence of events. If you persist in imagining success, fulfillment, and harmony, your external circumstances will gradually conspire to support that vision. If your assumptions are filled with lack, fear, or doubt, your environment will reflect the same. The universe does not argue with what you assume, it simply brings forth the circumstances that match your persistent inner state. The moment you realize that your inner world is the blueprint of your outer life, you gain control over the seemingly uncontrollable. You begin to see that external chaos is merely the result of conflicting or unexamined assumptions. By consciously choosing what you assume and maintaining that assumption with faith, you begin to reshape the stage of your life. You become the playwright, director, and lead actor in your own unfolding story. Each day, every thought, every feeling contributes to the setting, the plot, and the outcome. It is also essential to understand that this process does not always produce immediate results. The outer world must align with your inner assumption in its own time and manner, often beyond your immediate perception. Yet, the power of persistence ensures that no matter how long it takes, the life that corresponds to your inner assumption will manifest. Your assumption, held firmly and lived consistently, becomes a gravitational force, drawing circumstances, people, and events into alignment with your vision. The stage on which your life stands is not created by chance, effort, or external conditions. It is constructed entirely by what you assume and persist in internally. Your outer world is the inevitable reflection of your inner state. The clarity, consistency, and conviction with which you hold your assumptions determine not only the scenery and events, but also the quality of your entire life experience. To master your life, therefore, is to master your assumptions and persist in them with unwavering belief, knowing that the world around you will faithfully mirror the reality you have chosen within. Delays are often misunderstood. When something you deeply desire does not arrive as quickly as you expect, it is easy to assume that life is against you, that your dreams are slipping away, or that your efforts are in vain. Yet, delays are not denials. They are the hidden, quiet construction of your desire, the unseen preparation that must take place before the manifestation can appear in your physical reality. Every delay has a purpose. It is a sign that the process of creation is moving with precision unseen by your senses, and that the fulfillment of your desire is being meticulously arranged. The outer world operates on visible evidence, but the inner world operates on assumption, feeling, and faith. Your desires are first established in the invisible realm, and before they can be reflected outside, they require alignment at every level: mental, emotional, and spiritual. Delays are the silent period in which this alignment occurs. They are the time when circumstances are being ordered, opportunities are being prepared, and people and events are being guided into their proper positions. What appears as waiting or stagnation is actually an active, deliberate process in the unseen realm, working to bring your inner vision into exact harmony with reality. It is important to recognize that delays are not accidental. They occur because your desire is being perfected, because the timing must be right for the fullest expression of your vision. Rushing the process or succumbing to doubt can disrupt this delicate unfolding. On the other hand, patience and persistence strengthen your inner alignment. Each day that you continue to embody the feeling of the wish fulfilled, each moment you maintain faith instead of frustration, you are accelerating the unseen construction of your desire. The delay is simply a necessary stage, ensuring that what comes forth will be complete, abundant, and perfectly timed. Many fail to see the wisdom in delays because they judge reality by appearances alone. They expect immediate results and become anxious or discouraged when none arrive. But the truth is that what is coming for you is already finished in the unseen. It simply must follow the sequence of preparation before it can manifest visibly. Think of it like a building under construction. The framework, the plumbing, the wiring, all essential elements must be installed before the walls can be painted. To focus solely on the visible result is to miss the importance of the preparation happening behind the scenes. Understanding that delays are not denials allows you to maintain peace, clarity, and faith during the waiting period. You begin to see that every pause, every moment of apparent inactivity is actually a sign that your desire is being organized, refined, and brought into form with absolute precision. The unseen forces are working tirelessly, silently, and with perfect intelligence to deliver exactly what you have assumed and persisted in. So rather than becoming anxious or disheartened by the absence of immediate evidence, recognize that delays are a natural and necessary part of manifestation. They are the quiet construction, the meticulous preparation, and the invisible arrangement of all that you seek. When the time is right, your desire will appear, not as a fragment, but as the complete, fully formed reality that has been quietly constructed in your favor. Delays are simply the prelude to your ultimate victory, a reminder that the unseen world is always working, always building, and always bringing your dreams into perfect expression. For Albright, your inner state is the true cause of everything you experience, while outer circumstances are merely its shadow, a reflection of the reality you carry within. Too often, people look to the external world for evidence of their desires, believing that conditions must first change before they can feel fulfilled, confident, or happy. Yet this is a reversal of truth. It is not the world that creates your state. It is your state that creates the world. Your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions act as the invisible blueprint, and life itself obeys the patterns you maintain internally. What you see outside is always secondary. It is a mirror, an echo, a shadow cast by the inner reality you cultivate. This principle explains why two people can live in seemingly identical circumstances yet experience life in completely different ways. One may see struggle and limitation, while the other sees opportunity and abundance. The difference is not in the external world, it is in the state each person occupies within. Your inner state is powerful because it determines how you interpret every event, how you respond to every situation, and how you attract experiences into your life. Outer circumstances cannot dictate your reality. unless you allow them to influence your internal state. The outer world is consistent only with the inner world. If you persist in fear, doubt, or frustration, you will see evidence of these states reflected in your life. If you maintain a sense of certainty, faith, and fulfillment, the world will adjust accordingly. This does not mean that challenges disappear, but it does mean that your perception, response, and the ultimate outcome are shaped by the inner state you occupy. The shadow cannot act independently. It can only mirror what is already established within. Understanding this shifts the locus of control from external events to your consciousness. Instead of reacting to what happens outside, you focus on what you hold inside. Your imagination, your assumptions, and your feelings become the instruments of creation. When you inhabit the end result, when you live and feel as if your desires are already realized, the outer world is compelled to correspond. It cannot resist the magnetic force of a sustained inner state. This is why the inner world must be treated with reverence and discipline, for it is the soil in which every experience grows. Many fail to grasp this because they equate seeing with believing. They wait for proof before they feel confident. They wait for circumstances before they feel worthy. They wait for opportunity before they feel successful. But this is backward. The proof always follows the cause. The seed must be planted, nurtured, and matured before the fruit appears. Your inner state is that seed, and the outer world is its inevitable harvest. By focusing on your inner state, you reclaim power over your life. You no longer depend on shifting circumstances to dictate your peace, your joy, or your fate. You cultivate a consciousness that generates its own reality, knowing that everything external is simply a reflection of what is firmly established within. Outer circumstances are powerless to resist a consistent inner state. They may wobble, they may resist temporarily, but eventually the shadow aligns perfectly with the light of your consciousness. To master your life, therefore, is to master your inner state. To shift your experience is not to battle external conditions, but to harmonize your mind, heart, and imagination with the reality you desire. When your inner state is unwavering, the outer world has no choice but to reflect it. Your inner world is the true cause. The outer world is merely its faithful shadow. When you refuse to fold, when you hold fast to your vision, your conviction, and your inner state despite every challenge or appearance of delay, reality has no choice but to bend toward your persistence. Persistence is not merely stubbornness or blind effort. It is a sustained inner assumption, a refusal to abandon the feeling of the end you desire. When you maintain this inner fidelity, the universe, which is always responsive to consciousness, begins to adjust, rearrange, and align everything in perfect accordance with the reality you have assumed. What seems immovable in the outer world cannot withstand the consistent pressure of an unwavering inner state. The world often tests your resolve. Appearances may suggest resistance. Circumstances may seem contrary, and people may fail to respond as you expect. These are not signs that your dream is impossible or that the universe is uncooperative. They are tests of your commitment, invitations to strengthen your inner state, and opportunities to demonstrate that your belief in the unseen is greater than your reliance on the visible. When you persist, when you refuse to fold, you are signaling to the unseen realm that your desire is no longer negotiable. This refusal to yield creates a magnetic force that reality cannot resist. Persistence operates on a level beyond effort or struggle. It is the unshakable awareness that what you desire is already yours, in the unseen, and the determination to maintain that awareness regardless of outer appearances. Every thought, feeling, and action that aligns with this inner state adds pressure to reality. The outer world, which reflects your inner assumptions, is compelled to comply with the law of correspondence. In essence, the universe has no choice but to bend, slowly or suddenly, to match the reality you continue to inhabit internally. Many give up too soon because they are seduced by the evidence of their senses. They look at delays, obstacles, or a lack of visible progress and interpret it as failure. But the truth is that the unseen is always working. It is merely following its own timeline. The person who refuses to fold becomes a force of inevitability. Their steadfast inner assumption creates a momentum that the outer world must ultimately acknowledge. Doors open, opportunities present themselves, circumstances shift, and people respond, all as a natural consequence of inner persistence. Refusal to fold is not passive, it is active faith. It requires discipline to return repeatedly to the feeling of the end, to inhabit the reality you desire, even when external proof is absent. It requires courage to stand firm in your conviction while the world seems to resist. Yet this very act, this unwavering persistence, sets in motion the invisible currents that bring your desire into manifestation. The outer world may lag, it may challenge, and it may delay, but it cannot withstand the consistent, conscious pressure of a mind and heart aligned with their true desire. Persistence breaks through. What once appeared immovable yields. What seemed impossible becomes inevitable. Reality, which once seemed indifferent, now conspires in your favor. When you refuse to fold, you are no longer at the mercy of circumstance. You become the magnet, the orchestrator, and the cause of the unfolding reality. The universe bends, rearranges, and cooperates, not because it is forced, but because persistence and consciousness is the law to which all things must obey. Your steadfast refusal to fold ensures that the world outside becomes a faithful reflection of the unyielding truth you hold within. Everything you desire already exists. It is complete, whole, and perfect within the realm of your imagination. The fulfillment of your dreams is not something that is waiting to be created in the external world. It has already been formed in the invisible. What appears as delay, waiting, or struggle in the outer world is simply the unfolding of a process that has already been completed internally. You are not creating your desire from scratch. You are aligning yourself with a reality that already exists, walking toward the unveiling of what has been quietly perfected within your consciousness. To understand this, you must first recognize the power of the mind and imagination. Every circumstance, event, and experience in your life originates from your inner state. The desires you hold, the visions you entertain, and the assumptions you persist in are seeds planted in the fertile soil of consciousness. These seeds are not partial or incomplete. They exist as fully grown realities within the invisible. The act of imagining, feeling, and assuming is the acknowledgement that your desire is already a fact. The outer world simply takes time to conform to the internal truth you have established. The journey toward manifestation is a journey of alignment, not creation. You are not waiting for new conditions or external validations. You are walking into the realization of what has already been accomplished within. Your role is to embody the state of the wish fulfilled, to feel the joy, satisfaction, and completeness of your desire now, before the world presents it as evidence. By doing so, you create a magnetic field that draws the invisible into the visible, that brings the already finished into tangible form. Delays are not denials. They are simply the time it takes for the world outside to mirror what has been long completed inside. Many struggle because they look to the external world for confirmation, believing that fulfillment must appear first in their circumstances. They chase results, react to obstacles, and measure progress by appearances. This is a reversal of the natural order. The unseen is the cause, the seen is the effect. By living in alignment with the end result, by assuming it internally as already true, you set in motion the forces that allow the external world to catch up with the internal reality. You are walking along a path that has already been paved. Each step is a conscious participation in the manifestation of what is already complete. This perspective changes the way you respond to challenges, delays, and setbacks. You no longer see them as proof of lack, but as part of the natural unfolding of your finished desire. Patience is not passive. It is an active acknowledgement that the inner reality is already perfect. Every thought, every feeling, and every choice becomes an opportunity to reinforce the state of fulfillment you hold within. You are constantly moving toward the revelation, the unveiling, and the expression of that which exists invisibly but completely. And unlike the inherent enormity curse, which is that theft of your desires are not distant goals to be chased, they are present realities to be assumed. Everything you long for is already finished within you. The world outside is simply catching up to your inner truth. By maintaining faith, by living in the feeling of the end, and by walking with unwavering belief, you allow the external circumstances to align naturally with the perfection that already exists internally. You are not creating something new. You are witnessing the inevitable unveiling of what has long been complete. In conclusion, the journey of manifestation is not about forcing circumstances or chasing results. It is about cultivating the inner state that aligns with the reality you desire. Every delay, every unseen arrangement, and every challenge is simply part of the quiet orchestration happening behind the scenes. Your assumptions, persistence, and unwavering faith are the true forces shaping your life. When you hold your vision, embody the feeling of the end, and refuse to fold, reality has no choice but to respond. Everything you desire is already complete within. Your task is to maintain faith, stay aligned, and patiently walk toward its unveiling. The outer world is simply the reflection of your inner state, and as long as you remain steadfast, the manifestation of your desires is inevitable. Thank you for listening, and may you continue to trust the unseen and keep moving forward with faith and persistence. If you have arrived at this moment, if these words have reached you, it is not an accident. Life is not random, and God does not deal in coincidences. When you are guided to something at the exact time you need it, it is because movement is happening in the unseen. Something is stirring, something is shifting, something is aligning for you. You may not see the full picture yet. You may still be surrounded by situations that look unchanged. But listen closely. The invisible always shifts before the visible. What you are feeling right now The inner pull, the quiet reassurance, the subtle sense that something is coming is the proof. God moves first in the silence of your inner world before revealing anything in your outer world. When life gets heavy, when the waiting feels endless, when the battle seems unfair, it's easy to believe nothing is changing. But the truth is this: your persistence is creating the very change you long to see. Every time you choose faith over fear, you are rewriting the script of your life. Every time you entertain a higher thought, a better vision, a bold assumption of what can be, you are stepping into alignment with the reality that is already yours in the spiritual realm. Do not underestimate the power of what you imagine. Your inner world is not a place of fantasy, it is where creation begins. Whatever you accept as true within, whatever you feel deeply, whatever you boldly claim in your heart, that becomes the seed God waters. And even when the soil of your life looks dry, even when nothing seems to be sprouting, the roots are growing beneath the surface. You are closer than you think. Sometimes the greatest movement happens during the seasons that feel the most still. Sometimes the loudest answer is given through silence. Sometimes the biggest breakthrough comes disguised as disappointment. But every moment is purposeful. Every setback contains a setup. Every closed door redirects you to something higher. And right now, even if you cannot see it, God is guiding the pieces of your life into place. He is softening hearts, opening paths, shifting circumstances, and preparing opportunities you couldn't have arranged on your own. The things that feel delayed are not denied, they are being perfected. So don't give up. Do not surrender your vision just because it hasn't appeared yet. Do not abandon your faith because the evidence is still invisible. What you are carrying within you is more real than what you are seeing around you. Your assumption of victory, healing, abundance, reconciliation, or breakthrough is the signal to the universe that you are ready. Keep holding the feeling of what you want. Keep walking as if it's already done. Keep believing the whisper inside you more than the noise around you. This is the moment that separates those who receive from those who retreat. Your current challenges are not signs of failure, punishment, or abandonment. They are evidence that something greater is being formed within you. Every difficult season contains a hidden invitation to rise into a stronger, clearer, more powerful version of yourself. When life feels heavy, when obstacles appear out of nowhere, when circumstances stretch your patience and test your faith, it's not because you are breaking down, it's because you are breaking open. You are being shaped for something you cannot yet see. And the pressure you are feeling is the pressure of transformation. Think about how gold is refined. It is placed in fire not to destroy it, but to reveal its purity. Seeds must break underground before they can reach sunlight. Even the child in the womb experiences the tightest pressure right before entering a new world. Creation always requires discomfort. Growth always requires stretching. And every challenge that confronts you right now is doing more than simply presenting a problem. It is preparing your spirit for expansion. You may feel tired, overwhelmed, or uncertain, but beneath that surface emotion, strength is being built. When you choose to keep going, even when everything in you wants to stop, resilience is being formed. When you decide to believe that something good can still come out of this, clarity is being formed. When you persist, even in the midst of doubt, the foundation of your inner world is being rebuilt with deeper faith. These moments of pressure are forging qualities you will need for the blessing that is already on its way to you. It is easy to trust when life is smooth. It is easy to believe when doors open effortlessly. But it is in the challenging seasons that your spiritual muscles develop. These are the moments when you learn to listen inwardly instead of reacting to appearances. This is when you discover that your imagination is more powerful than your environment. This is when you begin to understand that you can choose your inner state even when your outer world feels chaotic. The challenge is not there to defeat you. It is there to strengthen the part of you that must rise to meet the future you are calling in. What feels like delay may actually be preparation. What feels like loss may be clearing space for something better. What feels like confusion may be redirecting your path. There is always more happening than you can see, and the very fact that you are still standing, still hoping, still searching is evidence that the greater version of you is emerging. You are not the same person you were before these challenges began. You are wiser now, you are more aware, you are more resilient. Something inside you is awakening. Do not measure your life by the difficulty of this moment. Measure it by the strength it is producing in you. Because once the challenge has passed, and it will, you will realize that the very pressure that made you uncomfortable was the force that elevated you. Something greater is being formed within you, and this season is simply shaping you for what you were always meant to receive. What you assume and feel as true begins shaping the circumstances around you, whether you are aware of it or not. Your inner state is continuously broadcasting a silent signal into your life, and the world responds to that signal with remarkable precision. Long before anything appears in physical form, it exists as a feeling, an assumption, a conviction held within your imagination. This inner belief becomes the blueprint your outer world follows. Life mirrors what you consistently accept as real, even when the evidence hasn't yet shown itself. Every transformation you've ever experienced began as a quiet shift inside you. Perhaps it was a sudden surge of confidence, a new expectation, a change in self-perception. Or maybe it was a subtle feeling that you deserved better, that something new was possible, that you no longer had to settle. The moment your inner world shifted, your outer world eventually followed. This is because your assumptions form the foundation of your reality. They are the roots that determine the fruit. When you assume something with conviction, when you feel it deeply as if it is already yours, you invite its manifestation. The feeling of having something precedes the having of it. And this is why your emotions are not random, they are creative forces. Feeling is the language of the inner world. Whatever you persistently feel, you call into your experience. Positive or negative, hopeful or doubtful, empowering or limiting. Your inner state is always constructing something. This is why two people can face the same situation and experience entirely different outcomes. One assumes defeat and sees obstacles everywhere. The other assumes possibility and finds opportunities where none seem to exist. It is not the situation that defines them, but the belief they bring to it. The world bends to the assumptions that dominate your consciousness. If you continually assume that life is difficult, that nothing works out for you, that people can't be trusted, that you are stuck, then your reality will confirm those expectations, not because life is cruel, but because your inner state is instructing the world how to treat you. Conversely, if you assume that your desires are valid, that your path is guided, that solutions are always available, and that you are worthy of good things, your circumstances begin shifting to reflect those truths. The key is persistence. A single hopeful thought is not enough. You must dwell in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You must rehearse the reality you want to experience until it becomes natural to you. When your assumption feels normal, when the vision of what you desire feels familiar, life has no choice but to deliver it. This inner work is not about forcing anything, it is about aligning yourself with the version of you who already has what you seek. When you embody that feeling, you begin speaking differently, moving differently, expecting differently, and very soon your environment reshapes itself around your new inner state. Everything begins within you. Change your assumption, and you change the path of your life. Inner conviction is always followed by outer confirmation. Your faith is planting unseen seeds long before anything appears in your physical reality. Every time you choose to believe in the possibility of something greater, even without evidence, you are sowing spiritual seeds that will eventually manifest in ways you can see, touch, and experience. Faith is not passive. It is not simply wishing or hoping. It is the inner knowing, the deep acceptance that what you desire is already yours in essence. And this inner knowing activates forces far beyond what your eyes can perceive. When you hold a conviction with sincerity and persistence, you set a process in motion. You begin to act differently, think differently, speak differently, and carry yourself with a quiet confidence. This subtle shift influences every interaction, every decision, every response. And because your inner world is the root of all outer conditions, the conviction you carry becomes the instruction for your life to follow. Your world must eventually rearrange itself to match the truth you have accepted within. The seeds of faith are planted in silence. They are planted when you choose belief over fear. They are planted when you imagine a better outcome and feel it as real. They are planted when you persist in the face of doubt and refuse to let circumstances dictate your inner state. Just as a farmer covers his seeds under the soil and trusts the unseen process taking place beneath the surface, you must trust the unseen work happening in your life. You may not see immediate results, but growth is occurring in ways you cannot measure. Outer confirmation often comes slowly at first, appearing as small signs, unexpected opportunities, new connections, intuitive nudges, perfect timing moments, or subtle shifts in people and situations. These signs are not coincidences. They are sprouting seeds. They reveal that your inner conviction is taking form. What you hold in consciousness always seeks expression. And just like a seed, your faith contains within it the blueprint for the outcome you desire. But you must persist. The moment you let go of your conviction and fall into doubt, you uproot the seed before it has a chance to grow. Faith does not require you to see the full path. It only asks that you trust the next step. The process may involve delays, detours, or moments where nothing seems to be happening. But in truth, everything is happening. The unseen is organizing itself around your belief. Life is arranging opportunities and aligning circumstances in your favor. Your outer world will always reflect the state of your inner conviction. If your faith wavers, your results will waver. But when your conviction becomes unshakable, when you hold the feeling of your desire as if it has already been fulfilled, the universe cannot deny you. Outer confirmation becomes inevitable. So continue believing, continue imagining, continue assuming the best. Your faith is not wasted. Every thought you have lived in, every feeling you have nurtured, every vision you have claimed is forming roots. And soon, what was once invisible will be undeniable. Your conviction is guiding your reality, and the seeds you planted through faith are rising into sight. Every delay, detour, or disappointment is not a sign that your desire is being denied. It is part of the preparation for a breakthrough that is far greater than anything you could have orchestrated on your own. Life is always responding to the deepest intentions of your heart, but sometimes the path to fulfillment doesn't look the way your mind expects. When things slow down, when doors close, when plans collapse, it does not mean the universe has forgotten you. It means something is being rearranged, refined, or redirected so you can receive what truly aligns with your highest good. At the end of the day, good delays can feel discouraging, especially when you're eager for change. But a delay is often a divine adjustment. It protects you from stepping into something before you're ready. It shields you from opportunities that would have caused stress or struggle. It strengthens your patience, sharpens your discernment, and deepens your faith. A delay gives you time to grow into the version of yourself who can fully hold the blessing that is coming. What looks like waiting is often inner building. Detours are just as important. Sometimes you think you know the straightest path to your desire, only to be led in a direction that seems completely opposite. But a detour is not a mistake. It is an alternate route designed to bring you into contact with people, experiences, or lessons you need. It might introduce you to someone who becomes a key part of your journey. It might help you discover a skill or strength you didn't know you had. It might refine your vision, helping you realize what you truly want. A detour often leads to a destination far better than the one you originally aimed for. And then there are disappointments, those moments when your expectations collapse and your heart feels heavy. It's easy to interpret these moments as rejection, but often they are redirection in disguise. Something you thought was right for you may have only offered temporary fulfillment. Something you prayed to keep might have held you back from a greater purpose. Disappointment clears the path for clarity. It removes what cannot stay, so that something aligned can enter. The loss you feel today may be the very thing that frees you for tomorrow's blessing. When you step back and see the bigger picture, you'll notice that nothing in your life has been wasted. Not a moment, not a setback, not a closed door. Every twist, every pause, every unexpected shift has been preparing you for a breakthrough that matches your inner growth. The timing you thought was late will turn out to be perfect. The closed doors will reveal themselves as protection. The disappointments will become the turning points of your story. Breakthroughs rarely come when everything is going smoothly. They arrive after seasons of stretching, strengthening, and surrendering. They arrive when you've developed the resilience, wisdom, and clarity to handle what you once only hoped for. So trust the delays. Trust the detours, trust the disappointments. They are not working against you. They are shaping you, guiding you, and positioning you for the moment when everything comes together in a way that feels sudden, undeniable, and divinely orchestrated. Your imagination is the spiritual blueprint from which your new reality unfolds. Every vision you hold, every inner picture you consistently entertain becomes a silent instruction that shapes your future. Before anything manifests in your physical world, it must first exist within the realm of imagination. This inner world is not a place of fantasy or escape. It is the creative workshop of your life. It is where you design the experiences you will eventually walk into, the images you allow to dominate your mind, become the seeds that life will eventually bring to fruition. When you imagine something vividly and feel it deeply, you activate the spiritual laws that govern creation. You bring yourself into alignment with the version of you who already possesses what you desire. Imagination allows you to step beyond present circumstances and connect with the reality you want to experience. It gives you access to states of being that transcend what your current environment suggests. Through imagination, you rehearse your future internally. And this internal rehearsal guides your actions, shapes your emotions, and influences the opportunities you attract. Most people use their imagination unconsciously, allowing fear, doubt, and worry to paint pictures of outcomes they never want to experience. Yet these images, if consistently entertained, can still manifest, because imagination does not judge, it simply creates from what you feed it. This is why mastering your imagination is essential. You must become intentional with the visions you hold. You must choose images that reflect the life you wish to live, not the limitations you currently face. When your imagination is directed with purpose, the world around you begins to shift in response. Ideas start flowing, inspiration rises, people appear seemingly out of nowhere. Synchronicities happen. Your desires begin finding their way to you, not because of luck, but because your inner world has sent out a clear signal that the outer world begins to mirror. Imagination is the bridge between your spiritual identity and your physical experience. It is the tool through which unseen possibilities become visible realities. The beauty of imagination is that it is limitless. No matter your circumstances, you can envision something greater. Even when life feels restrictive, your imagination remains free. When your outer world feels stagnant, your inner world can remain vibrant and alive with possibility. And as you continue to nurture these inner pictures, they eventually override your previous assumptions. Suddenly, the vision feels real. It feels natural. It feels like something you were always meant to experience. Once the feeling of your imagined reality becomes familiar, the physical world begins rearranging itself to match it. Opportunities emerge, new paths open, solutions appear. This is not magic, it is alignment. You are simply stepping into the life you mentally rehearsed, the life you spiritually prepared for through imagination. So guard your imagination, use it intentionally. Let it paint pictures of abundance, healing, love, success, and purpose. Let it show you who you can become, not who you have been. Your imagination is the blueprint, the foundation, the silent architect of your destiny. And as you continue to give life to these inner images, your new reality will unfold with clarity, purpose, and divine precision. God moves quietly at first, then suddenly, all your quiet work within will soon manifest without. The greatest shifts in your life rarely announce themselves with noise or spectacle. They begin in the stillness of your inner world long before any visible change appears. This is how divine movement works: subtle, gentle, almost imperceptible, until the moment arrives when everything unfolds at once. What you have been nurturing in silence, your prayers, your affirmations, your assumptions, your inner healing, your intentional thoughts, has been gathering momentum beneath the surface. And just like a seed hidden underground, the first signs of growth are always invisible. When you do the inner work, you may feel like nothing is happening. You imagine the life you desire, you hold the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you persist in faith even when appearances contradict you. It can feel quiet, lonely, or slow, but that inner consistency is reshaping the spiritual pattern of your life. Every moment you choose a higher thought, every time you assume the best, every time you forgive, release, or rise above old patterns, you are creating a new energetic blueprint. The world cannot ignore this shift. It must respond. It must reflect what you have planted within. But because growth begins internally, your outer world often appears unchanged at first. This is the stage when many people give up. They assume their efforts aren't working, that their imagination is wasted, that their faith isn't producing results. Yet, this quiet phase is the most powerful part of the process. It is where the unseen roots develop, it is where alignment is formed, it is where clarity strengthens. The silence is not absence, it is preparation. And then, just when you least expect it, the suddenly arrives, the opportunity appears, the relationship shifts, the door opens, the breakthrough comes. What once seemed far away becomes your new reality. What you imagined becomes tangible. What you held in consciousness becomes something you can finally see and touch. These sudden manifestations are never random. They are the flowering of everything you cultivated internally. The world sees the sudden moment, but God saw the quiet preparation. People will think your breakthrough came overnight, but you will know the truth. It was the result of countless moments when you chose faith over fear, persistence over doubt, vision over circumstance. Your inner work has created a foundation strong enough to support the blessings coming your way. So don't underestimate the quiet season you're in. It is not stagnant, it is sacred. It is where creation is most active. Keep imagining, keep aligning, keep believing, keep nurturing the vision that lives within you. What you do in silence is never wasted. Every thought, every assumption, every moment of inner conviction is shaping a future that will arrive with clarity and force. God moves quietly, then suddenly and soon, what you have been preparing for in secret will manifest openly in your life. The very things you held in your heart will stand before you, undeniable and beautifully real. Your inner work is working. Your suddenly is already on its way. In the end, everything you are walking through right now, every challenge, every shift, every quiet moment of faith, is shaping you for something far greater than you can imagine. What you are cultivating within is building the foundation for the life that is unfolding before you. Your inner conviction, your imagination, your persistence, and your belief are forming the bridge between where you are and where you are meant to be. Nothing you've endured has been wasted. Nothing you've hoped for has been ignored. And nothing you are believing for is beyond reach. You are being guided. You are being strengthened. You are being prepared. Trust the timing, embrace the process, and continue choosing faith over fear. Because the life you've envisioned in silence is already making its way into your reality. Your breakthrough is closer than it appears. Thank you for listening, thank you for believing, and thank you for allowing these words to become a part of your journey.